Our story begins with a group of four thieves who, in their clever attempt to carry out a heist, hack the cameras and break into a building. They ruthlessly kill every guard in their path as they rush to loot and complete their heist. But suddenly, an unknown rabbit appears in front of them. Yes, friends, I am not joking. A 6-foot rabbit who could talk. This rabbit turns out to be much more than they anticipated, and so the thieves immediately aim their guns at him. The rabbit begins to speak. You Americans are the best species among humans, and yet, like all humans, you are foolish. The things you cannot understand, you destroy with cruelty. Look at what your ignorance has brought you. You've forgotten the real treasure in your greed for these precious stones worth 1.5 million. Saying this, the rabbit walks towards a sword covered in glass. One of the thieves, stunned, asks, "Wait a minute. How did you know we were going to make 1.5 million off this heist?" The rabbit responds in a tired tone, "Because I set the price for this heist myself." After completing his statement, he shatters the glass and pulls out the sword. This sword is priceless and gleaming. The rabbit explains, "This sword is called the Demon Knight Sparta. Isn't it a mockery that such a dangerous sword, which belongs to hell, is kept behind a glass in such a trivial place? Think about it. If hell didn't exist, how many more sins would humans commit without fear? It's shocking that humans only stay away from sin out of fear of hell. And that hell? It's my world. From this, we can deduce that this is a demon from hell." One of the thieves steps forward and says, "Rabbit, you talk too much. But I don't care. What I care about is that you priced these precious stones at 1.5 million, and we're getting them no matter what." The rabbit calmly replies, "Yes, yes, you'll get them and you'll get them." With this, the rabbit swiftly swings his sword, decapitating the thief in a motion. The remaining thieves panic and fire their guns, but the rabbit isn't caught off guard. We see how he deflects each bullet with his sword, cutting them down one by one. In just a few moments, the rabbit kills all the thieves, and as the security forces arrive, the rabbit triggers an explosion, causing chaos as he escapes. Meanwhile, the focus shifts to an unknown mother and her daughter. The mother, chasing after her daughter's toy, accidentally finds herself in a dark, desolate alley. Before she can escape, she finds herself surrounded by strange demons. She screams, and her voice is heard by someone nearby. But before the demons can finish her off, the scene cuts to our main character, Dante, entering the scene. We see how Dante uses his incredible shooting skills to single-handedly take out all the demons and save the woman. The woman thanks him, but just as they are about to leave, Dante notices a shadow of a demon within the little girl. Dante could have eliminated the threat there and then, but the woman's panic prevents him from acting. Unfortunately, the mother takes her demon child and leaves the scene. The next thing we see is the news covering the incident on television. However, the authorities are unable to verify the rabbit's involvement, and instead, all the blame is placed on Russian technology. A Russian YouTuber is broadcasting about the situation, claiming that the attacks are being carried out by demons from hell. But his words are not taken seriously, and memes are made about him on social media. However, inside the White House, the story is different. Researchers reveal that the DNA of the creatures in the CCTV footage indicates that they are not entirely human. Their DNA is similar to humans, but also distinctly different. Further investigation uncovers that demons from hell have been infiltrating the human world through small portals that open between the dimensions of hell and earth. This discovery leads to the realization that hell is real, and demons can pass through these portals. Dr. Fisher, a scientist working for the rom-com Foundation, explains that the bridge between hell and earth is a fragile one, and these portals are the only way for demons to enter the human world. The government is now determined to stop the demons from fully invading Earth. Meanwhile, a guard brought a CD containing the video of the mysterious rabbit-like demon from earlier making a bold announcement, warning that the gates of hell will soon open completely. He challenges anyone who wants to stop it to find the hunter who can put an end to it. The Vice President of the United States, upon hearing this, orders all demon hunters to be captured, for only they can stop the chaos. Soon, all demon hunters are being hunted down, and we shift back to Dante, who is having a meal at a restaurant. Suddenly, an unknown demon attacks him. He saved the people inside the restaurant, but the place caught fire. To Dante's shock, it is his twin brother, who had supposedly died. As Dante tries to fight him, he begins to remember his past, his childhood, and the fear that once haunted him. However, we later find out that the demon isn't actually his brother, but rather a shape-shifting demon from earlier. Dante continues to fight the demon and chases it into the basement of the restaurant. In the basement, the demon reveals itself fully, and Dante must face it in a fierce battle. The scene then shifts back to an investigation, where the authorities question demon hunters about the rabbit demon. One of the hunters mentions a wealthy man, Enzo, and when they bring him in for questioning, the wealthy man reveals that the rabbit isn't interested in any demon hunters. Instead, the rabbit is fixated on one demon hunter in particular, and that's none other than Dante. Now, as the team checks Dante's data, they are shocked to see the reports. According to the files, Dante has been defeating demons since childhood. His record is so impressive that they find it hard to believe even half of it could be true. From this, they realize that Dante is a dangerous man, and the vice president understands that Dante is an extremely powerful demon hunter. However, the real question is, why does the rabbit have such an intense interest in Dante? A doctor responds, saying they don't know the answer, but one strange fact stands out. Dante worked 5 different jobs, and he left each one just because he got bored. It's unlike any data they've seen. There's definitely something strange about Dante. The scene shifts to Dante, who is currently fighting a demon. We are shown that Dante isn't in danger, but rather it's the demons who fear Dante. During the fight, we learn that this demon is much weaker than Dante. The demon tries to confuse Dante and trick him into sitting against a wall. However, it turns out that the demon's main goal is to steal Dante's necklace. Once the demon steals the necklace, Dante suddenly becomes very serious. We see Dante's strength increase dramatically as he shatters the wall and knocks the demon out with a single punch. He retrieves his necklace, and when the demon is lying defeated, Dante asks why the demon was after his necklace. The demon refuses to answer and transforms into a bat, escaping from the scene. After the demon leaves, Dante realizes that in using so much strength, he's broken his pistol. The story then shifts to the wealthy man, who reveals that he heard a strange story. According to this story, some demons are so powerful that they cannot pass through the portals, while weaker demons can. However, even though they can pass through, they still cannot fully control the world, and thus they possess inanimate objects to do their bidding. This seems to be referring to the rabbit demon. The vice president, sitting behind a microphone, asks the wealthy man for the rabbit's location. The man replies that he met the rabbit once but hasn't seen him since. The vice president responds, saying that they already know the rabbit's location. The reason he is asking the man is to test him. Enzo warns that if the vice president sends forces after the rabbit, it will be a huge mistake. The rabbit has already killed most of the soldiers sent to find him, and the only one to return alive is a soldier now in the hospital. The soldier wakes up in the hospital and tells the story of how the rabbit became extremely furious while fighting over the necklace. The rabbit sent a demon after Dante, but Dante destroyed it so badly that the demon barely escaped alive. The soldier's name is Anders. After hearing this, the vice president realizes they need to take action against Dante soon. Now in Dark-Com headquarters, the vice president has gathered various mercenaries to hunt Dante. These mercenaries are confident, though not demon hunters. They've probably never even seen a demon. Along with them, the Dark-Com forces are present, and these are the real demon hunters. The vice president arrives and begins the meeting. He shows them an image of the necklace and tells them they must recover it. The vice president shares the location of the necklace and warns that the person wearing it is highly dangerous. He is renowned for his fighting abilities. The vice president shows Dante's pictures to everyone. They start underestimating Dante, mocking him for his hair color and calling him a chump. The mercenaries seem completely ignorant, but among them is one sensible person who, although a bit strange, warns everyone that they should laugh as much as they can now because they won't have the chance later when Dante breaks their teeth. He shares his experience of meeting Dante during a protection job, where he encountered some dangerous and ruthless people who killed most of his team. But Dante was different. He fought those enemies single-handedly and destroyed them. The mercenary says Dante was from a different league, showing no fear and no emotion. He was powerful, fearless, and the reason he was alive today was only because of Dante. He warns the others that fighting Dante is like signing your own death sentence. After this, the vice president announces a $500,000 reward for anyone who can bring Dante. The vice president starts explaining his plan. He tells them that the Enzo they see on the screen knows Dante and Dante knows him. They plan to use this man to distract Dante while the mercenaries break in and attack him. One mercenary questions why they even brought in a team of school-clad clowns if the plan is just to do everything themselves. The vice president explains that the dark com soldiers will be watching from a distance and will take care of Dante once he's captured. The meeting ends, and just as the mercenaries start to leave, a lieutenant stops one of them. She explains to the man that demons are hard to kill and require a variety of methods. She shows him anti-demon bullets, saying that while they're harmless to humans, they're deadly to demons. As she continues speaking, the guy starts to feel uneasy, and Lieutenant Mary moves closer. She notes that even though demons might look human, their hands, feet, and faces are often different. Sometimes their eyes give them away. She then tears his clothes off, revealing that he's a demon. The guy's disguise falls away, and he attacks the vice president, but Mary uses advanced technology to subdue him. She finishes him off with the anti-demon bullets. Afterward, the vice president appreciates and shows confidence in Mary's team for this job. Just then, Anders enters. The vice president introduces him as the new member of the Darkcom force. At night, Enzo arrives in a building. As soon as he enters, he starts searching for Dante, unaware that he's being watched. Just then, a shadowy figure appears, holding a gun. It's Dante. Enzo asks him to lower the gun, but Dante responds sarcastically, mentioning that the task Enzo gave him was a trap involving a shape-shifting demon baby. Dante also points out that Enzo probably knew about it. Enzo tries to explain that he didn't know, and it was the White Rabbit who approached him to give Dante the job, offering him money in exchange. Dante mocks him, but Enzo insists that he didn't know it was a trap. As Enzo tries to explain further, Dante listens but doesn't seem convinced. The mercenaries begin to position themselves around Dante's location. Enzo begs for mercy, and Dante eventually decides to spare him, but with a warning. He offers Enzo a drink, asking if he wants tea or coffee, then inquires about the briefcase Enzo brought. Enzo admits that he's there to pay Dante for his services, but Dante, still angry, mentions that it was the demon shapeshifter as his brother Enzo quickly tries to apologize, saying he didn't mean to betray Dante and that they're friends. Dante, though, is still suspicious, asking if Enzo brought anyone else with him. Enzo hesitates, then admits that he did bring others, mercenaries sent to kill Dante. He tries to assure Dante that he did all this because they made him do this. Enzo then tried to ask Dante for his necklace because all of this fuzz is because of that. But Dante denies, as it was his mother's last gift to him. Hearing that Enzo tries to leave, Dante stops him and asks who said he could leave. Before Enzo can react, the mercenaries rush in, and they think they've found Dante sitting in a chair. But it's actually Enzo, disguised as Dante. As they start to figure it out, Dante, using his pool-playing skills, injuring most of the mercenaries with a well-aimed shot. In a desperate attempt to defeat Dante, the leader of the mercenary team orders his soldiers to open fire. However, Dante, with his trademark agility, dodges the bullets and then turns the tables by positioning himself behind them and attacking. He mocks them, asking who they think they're shooting at. Despite the barrage of bullets, Dante doesn't get hit. His speed and reflexes allow him to take down each mercenary with ease. The leader, realizing he's out of options, resorts to using a knife, challenging Dante to face him one-on-one. Dante, however, is unfazed by the challenge. As the leader tries to strike him, Dante quickly counterattacks and disarms him. He grabs the leader's bandana, ties him up, and slams his head into a wall, knocking him unconscious. After eliminating the mercenaries, Dante asks Enzo why they are after his mother's necklace. Enzo, clearly uneasy, replies that if he had known, he would have told Dante sooner. The moment is tense, but Dante lightens the mood by turning on the music as if to say, "Let's enjoy the action." While this happens, the remaining forces of the mercenaries ascend the stairs towards Dante's location. One of the mercenaries comments on Dante's taste in music, impressed by the choice. As more mercenaries pour into the room, Dante greets each of them with a brutal welcome, using his weapons and speed to dispatch them one by one. It's clear that Dante is not just a skilled fighter, but someone who enjoys the challenge. Even after enduring severe punishment from Dante, the mercenaries are still determined to get their hands on the necklace. They push forward, but Dante continues to eliminate them with ease. It's almost as if they are no match for his raw power and skill. As the last of the mercenaries falls, another one appears from behind, sneaking up on Dante. This mercenary manages to shoot Dante in the stomach, and his bullet passes through him, hitting the music player, causing it to stop. This moment seems like a victory for the mercenary who shot Dante. But the twist comes when Dante's wounds begin to heal on their own. The mercenary is shocked, unable to believe what he's seeing. Dante, with a smile, responds, explaining that he has the ability to heal instantly. He mocks the idea that he's some kind of superhero, though he prefers being the villain. Dante, with his usual confidence, delivers a powerful uppercut, knocking the mercenary out. Meanwhile, Dark-Com, who had been observing the battle from a distance, expresses concern about Dante's regenerative abilities. They discuss how Dante, despite being a human, can heal like a demon, suggesting that his lineage might be connected to the legendary demon Sparta. The conversation shifts to the story of Sparta, a legendary demon knight who once served the demon king Mundus. Sparta was trusted by Mundus, but ultimately turned against him to protect humanity. He sealed off the human world from the demon world, remaining with humans to defend them. The Dark-Com team believes that if Dante is linked to Sparta, it explains his abilities. At this moment, Mary decides to enter the building, using her power jet to swiftly navigate inside. Dante, noticing her arrival, begins throwing nearby objects at her. However, Mary skillfully uses the mercenaries as shields, dodging Dante's attacks with ease. Seizing the opportunity, she uses her zipline to target Dante, which, despite Dante dodging it, leaves a small scratch on his neck. Dante, noticing her precision, compliments her, saying, "Your aim isn't too bad." Dante quickly realizes that she wasn't targeting him directly, but his necklace. This realization makes Dante even more intrigued by her intentions. Mary, having accomplished her goal, uses a smoke screen to escape, leaping from the building. As she tries to get away, she looks back, thinking she's left Dante behind, only to find him right behind her. They engage in a dramatic bullet clash, where their bullets narrowly miss each other, leaving scars. But Dante is unaware that the Mary's bullets are actually anti-demon explosive rounds, which cause a blast when they make contact with him. This confirms her suspicion that Dante is a demon, as only a demon would react to those bullets. Mary, now more convinced of Dante's true nature, tries to expose him by tearing at his clothes to find any demonic marks. But to her surprise, Dante has no such marks. He's human, or at least appears to be. Dante, casually revealing that his body is special, jokes about her methods, asking, "If you wanted to see, you could have just asked. No need to tear my clothes." Mary, not backing down, claims that Dante is half human, half demon. Mary, realizing she can't win in a direct confrontation, decides to keep her distance and think of a new strategy. She slides down a pipe to escape, but Dante shoots at the pipe, causing her to lose her balance and begin falling. Just as she's about to hit the ground, Dante uses his speed to catch her and pin her against the wall. Dante denies Mary's theory of him being half demon and defends his human side, stating that he has killed more demons than she could ever count. He asks her why she thinks he's a demon. Before Dante can get any answers, Mary uses this moment to her advantage. She throws a grenade, it explodes, and Dante remains unharmed. She flees again. Dante hears a noise coming from a door. Kicking it open, he finds nothing, but Mary, being deceptive as ever, surprises him from behind with a shock bullet, paralyzing him. She also injects a strange drug into his neck, explaining that he's trapped inside a war truck, making it impossible for him to escape. The drug has a hidden purpose. It installs a mini-bomb inside Dante's neck, set to explode if he moves more than a mile away from the truck. We then saw a flashback where we learn a bit more about Mary's past. She was once obsessed with eliminating demons after witnessing her family's tragic encounter with one. The flashback shows how her father, a highly successful scholar of ancient magic, failed to protect her and her mother when a demon attacked them. This traumatic event pushed him to devote his life to studying demons, determined to prevent them from harming humanity. Returning to the present, the war truck carries Dante to their headquarters. While on the truck, Dante and Enzo have a brief exchange asking Mary to untie them. Dante and tell Enzo that this is the second worst job after the Raccoon City job. Dr. Fisher continues his research on Dante's necklace. He's held captive, analyzing its properties and the signals it transmits. The doctor mentions that the necklace transmits a signal that could open a massive portal to hell if connected with the other half of the necklace. During this, another soldier suggests that it might be better to destroy the necklace since it could connect their world with the demon's world. However, the doctor disagrees, explaining that the necklace is essential in maintaining the barrier between the human world and hell. If destroyed, the wall separating them would collapse. Meanwhile, Dante is bound using a prototype handcuff. Dante begins to form a plan to break free, and his thoughts are interrupted by his boot's belt, which gives him an idea to escape. Enzo helps Dante remove his restraints using the belt, but Mary failed their plan using a flamethrower in their vehicle. Meanwhile, Mary questions Anders about how he escaped from Rabbit's trap. Anders is visibly nervous and cannot answer her question. After the conversation, Dante continues to try escaping, and we are shown that the vice president appears on screen, asking Dante about his past. The vice president asks about Dante's mother and brother and whether they were killed by demons. Dante confirms this and also mentions that he never met his father. The vice president believes that Dante's father was a demon, which is why Dante is part demon and part human. The vice president believes that demons can be good, and he offers Dante a chance to join them. However, Lieutenant Mary strongly disagrees, saying that anyone with demon blood can never be human. The vice president, however, insists that if Dante were to join them, they could win the war against the demons. While the conversation continues, the road ahead is blocked, and Anders steps out of the truck to investigate. Suddenly, multiple bombs started to explode and it began to shake the area, causing buildings to collapse. Rabbit appears too and uses a rocket launcher to flip the trucks. The vice president watches in shock, realizing the seriousness of the situation. All this explosion causes the team to split, but everyone is safe, except Patriota, who is injured. Anders demands that the doctor hand over the amulet for safekeeping. Rabbit and his 5 demons, including the shapeshifter demon, appear. One of the demons, Echidnas, attacks Mary, who is struggling to defend herself against the overwhelming number of demons. Meanwhile, Rabbit mocks the other group, thanking them for bringing the amulet to him. He effortlessly deflects bullets, and his enemies' attempts to defeat him fail. King, a demon hunter, shoots at Rabbit, but his bullets have no effect. Rabbit easily heals from the damage and retaliates with a devastating attack, knocking out most of the demon hunters. Rabbit then enters the truck where Dr. Fisher is present with Anders holding the amulet. The vice president watches from the screen as Rabbit cuts off all the connections to the monitor. Anders is forced to hand over the amulet to Rabbit, as Rabbit has his daughter captive to ensure his cooperation. The vice president's bodyguard approaches him, warning him of the danger, but it's clear that they are also aligned with Rabbit. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Mary continues to fight the demons, but her strength is insufficient against the sheer number of enemies. Meanwhile, Rabbit connects the 2 halves of the amulet, causing a bright light to emerge. Dr. Fisher was confused why Rabbit is not using the amulet and sword now, but then he realizes that Rabbit needs one final key to unlock the full power of the amulet. Rabbit criticizes the doctor for being so easily manipulated by the vice president. Dr. Fisher then tried to stop Rabbit. In response, Rabbit kills him and dismisses him as an obstacle. At this point, Rabbit also wounds Anders but leaves him alive, making it look like Anders tried to stop him. Dante, now free from his restraints, makes a heroic entrance, attacking Rabbit without hesitation. However, before Dante can strike, Rabbit targets a school bus with a rocket launcher, putting the children inside in danger. Dante, showing his heroic side, intervenes and prevents the attack, saving the children. But this brief distraction is enough for Rabbit to make his escape. Using an explosion to create chaos, Rabbit lands his war truck and begins to flee with the other demons, leaving Mary with a moment to recover. Dante, determined to chase them, follows on his bike. Rabbit, noticing Dante's pursuit, casually remarks that he wanted to confront Dante one-on-one, but decides it's not the right time. He orders his team to deal with Dante and keep him away. Cavaliere attacks Dante, but Dante dodges with ease. As the fight intensifies, Two demon brothers, Red and Blue, use their combined powers of fire and wind to attack Dante, throwing cars at him. Despite their overwhelming numbers, Dante skillfully dodges all their attacks. Dante takes on all demons with ease, even overpowering the brothers Red named Agni and Blue named Rudra, who are shocked by his strength and call Dante cool. After this, Dante has a brief but intense clash with Cavaliere, sending him flying into another vehicle. Rabbit, observing the battle, comments that Dante is getting closer to unlocking his full demonic power, making him even more dangerous. As the battle rages on, Dante's power continues to grow. Mary's team, still trailing, prepares to close in. We then learn that Mary had secretly planted a tracking device on the amulet. Mary also remembers a mini-bomb which she planted in Dante's neck will trigger if he soon. Meanwhile, just as Dante seems ready to finish Rabbit, the bomb in his neck is triggered, causing his head to explode. However, even in his last moments, Rabbit walks towards Dante and taunts him, saying that if he had been pushed just a little more, Dante would have fully activated his demonic powers. Rabbit acknowledges Dante's potential and clarified that Dante is none other than Sparta's son. Despite the bomb triggering, Dante's miraculous healing begins, and he recalls a memory from his childhood. His mother had given him half of a necklace, and his brother Virgil the other blue part of necklace. Both Dante and Virgil then got into a fight. Both of them were physically too powerful for a normal human. Dante then remembers asking his mother about his father. But before he could get the full story, he experiences a vision of Rabbit's earlier words, calling Dante son of Sparta. Dante suddenly finds himself waking up in an unknown place, surrounded by other prisoners, including the vice president. Agni and Rudra appear and inform him that Rabbit has left a video message for him. In the video, Rabbit was telling everyone that they are going to die if Dante didn't help them. Meanwhile, Mary and her team are closing in on the amulet location. However, they find themselves trapped inside a building, completely cut off from the outside world. Rabbit then broadcasts a message to them, warning anyone inside that thoughts of helping Mary's forces will declare traitors. Mary and her team decided to find the amulet. But suddenly their member sentry was stabbed to death by Cavaliere. They all begins to shoot him, but he blocked all the bullets using his wing and started to slice them all. Cavaliere was assisted by another demon from earlier Echidna who used Tentacle to attack an injured Many. Seeing his companion die, Mary starts shooting Echidna, but she is overpowered and caught by Echidna's tentacle powers. Just when it seems like Echidna will finish Marie off, Mary's companion Ninja intervenes, but Cavaliere kills her from behind. At that moment, Mary finally got her hands on the gun again and started shooting. Echidna's grip got loose and Mary somehow made escape using the elevator. At that moment, Mary was held responsible for her comrade's death. Later, she activates a trap that releases poisonous gas, leaving her in a dangerous situation. Meanwhile, Dante watches a video message from Rabbit, who reveals that Dante is indeed Sparta's son. Rabbit taunts him, mentioning how Dante's injuries should have been fatal but healed on their own, a sign of his demonic heritage. Rabbit hints that Sparta, while a great demon, was also a coward who betrayed his kind. He also warns Dante that the plane they're on is rigged with a bomb, and the only way to save everyone is for Dante to fully embrace his demonic powers. Hearing all of this, all the people were scared and urged Dante to save them. But Dante doesn't believe the shit said by Bunny, as his father can't be from 200,000 years ago. But Vice President told Dante that demon age way differently than human. Enzo that moment that he believes that Dante is Sparta's son, as he was also good as he fought for human like Dante did. At that moment, Agni and Rudra made fun of Dante how he hid when the demon attacked his mother and brother. This made Dante angry, and he started to attack them. Meanwhile, Mary was facing hallucination because of the gas she inhaled. She was having hallucinations of her comrade holding her responsible for their death. Her father appeared and he was also saying the same. Suddenly Cavaliere attacked Mary. She started running away, realizing how powerful Cavaliere is. As no option left, Mary started bumping at the door and a man came out. At first he was not going to help Mary, but after she requested him, he allowed her to come inside. But Cavaliere entered the room too. At that moment, the man lowered his robe, and Mary realized the man is a demon too, after checking Cavaliere leaves. But suddenly Mary pointed the gun at the man. In the plane, Dante and the demon started fighting, but when Agni used the fireball, it made Dante remember his childhood and he got scared. Dante tried to punch them, but it didn't connect, and rather his strength made it difficult for the pilot to maintain the stability. Both the demons then started punching Dante like they were playing with a ball. Suddenly Agni headbutted Dante, which made him lose his balance. Agni then sliced Dante with the sword, telling him he is the same as his father Sparta. At that moment, Dante saw a woman resembling his mother, which recalls his mother telling him that his father was brave. Suddenly Dante awakened his power, the devil trigger. He grew a hand and attacked Agni again, which launched him back. Their brawl begins again, but this time Dante was way faster and stronger. He dodged Agni's attack and cut his hand off, and finally stabbing him with his own sword. Meanwhile, Mary, who is still pointing gun on the man, as in her hallucination he is looking was more scary and dangerous. Mary asked them why they are here. The man explained that the place they call hell was their home, but the place was too dangerous and its air was way too poisonous for weak demon like them. Hell's air made it unfit for their child to grow, so the rabbit helped them and bring them here, but they realized that this place is also no good for them. They also told Mary that rabbit perform experiments on the orphans. Hearing all this, Mary believed them and lowered her gun. She then decided to leave. Before leaving, she told the man and his family that her backup should be here soon and they are going to save everyone. Again with Dante, Rudra was angry as Dante killed his brother, so without wasting any time he pressed the explosive button, which broke open the airplane's door and all of the people started to fall out. All the people started to scream as they plummeted toward the ground. But unlike the rest, the vice president calmly began to pray. At that moment, Rudra vanished, telling Dante to survive the fall so he could kill him himself later. Meanwhile, Mary was trying to access the elevator, but Echidna stood guard. Both Cavaliere and Echidna searched the area but failed to find Mary, who had hidden just in time. Echidna told Cavaliere she would handle Mary herself, prompting Cavaliere to leave. Outside the building, the backup team struggled to enter due to Bunny's high-tech security system. At the same time, Cavaliere approached a lair full of ferocious demons and ordered them to follow him. Back inside, Mary reached a secured area locked by a pin code, but she blasted it open with her gun. Inside, she was horrified to see a demon subjected to grotesque experiments. As she approached, a hallucination took over, making it seem as though the demon was attacking her. In reality, he begged her to kill him and end his suffering. Moved by his plea, Mary fulfilled his wish. At that moment, the shape-shifting demon entered. Unaware of his true identity, Mary didn't realize she was now in the presence of another dangerous foe. Back in the sky, Enzo urged Dante to grab a parachute. Using his super speed, Dante managed to get one and began saving others mid-air. But suddenly, he began feeling strange. Enzo assumed it was due to the high-speed descent, but Dante's eyes changed color once again, just like before. Mary was hit with another painful memory. Her father injecting himself with the serum, transforming into a demon, and murdering her mother. Overwhelmed with rage, she opened fire. When her bullets ran out, she tried to reason with the shapeshifter, recalling demons who showed care for their families. But he insisted they were still monsters and deserved death. Then he slipped. He mentioned the demon realm, Makai. Mary froze. Only demons knew that name. Realizing his true nature, she attacked. He transformed and lunged at her, eventually stabbing her. Echidna heard the commotion. The shapeshifter hurled Mary across the room. Gravely injured and unable to fight, Mary tried a different approach. She offered a deal. Let her live, and she'd help him infiltrate Darkcom with the intel she had. He agreed. But suddenly, Echidna appeared and fired a poison seed, unknowingly hitting the shapeshifter instead. Mary seized the opportunity, unloading her gun at Echidna. Though Echidna initially blocked the shots, Mary finally managed to kill her using a special bullet. Back in the air, Dante was haunted by visions of his family's death. Fueled by rage, he transformed again, but this time his form was different. More powerful. More like his father, Sparta. He used his wings to rescue everyone, including Enzo. Just as relief began to set in, Rudra returned and attacked. Inside the building, Mary reached the control room and accessed various surveillance feeds. She was about to open the doors for her team when they began opening on their own. Realizing it was a trap, she urgently warned them, just before a massive explosion went off. The battle between Rudra and Dante resumed. Fueled by vengeance over his brother's death, Rudra unleashed his wind powers. But Dante, now faster and stronger, got behind Rudra and kicked him through several floors. He then pummeled him relentlessly, demanding to know the location of his necklace. Rudra revealed that Rabbit had it. Hearing a loud explosion, Dante spared Rudra and rushed toward the sound. Mary, relieved that only 2 casualties had occurred, used the microphone in the control room to make a powerful announcement. Dark-Com would now help rescue demons suffering under Rabbit's experiments. She ordered her team to load all the demons into trucks bound for Dark-Com. As for Rabbit, she would handle him herself. But Dante's decision to spare Rudra proved costly. Rudra ambushed him again. Dante, mid-transformation back to his human form, still managed to hold his ground. Their fight spilled into the same room where Mary was. Rudra prepared to finish Dante, but Mary intervened and shot him dead. Seeing her, Dante cracked a joke about how she had once planted a bomb in his neck and thrown a grenade in his face. Mary ignored him and followed her tracker, only to find it lying on a table beside a rabbit, eerily arranged like her slaughtered teammates. Just then, Dante found Rudra's device, which projected a green beam showing Rabbit on the other side. Meanwhile, the Dark-Com evacuation was underway, but the vice president contacted them, opposing the plan to house demons at their base. Through the device, Rabbit spoke to Dante and Mary, declaring his plan to invade the city. Mary was confused. Rabbit already had the sword and necklace, yet hadn't used them. Dante then revealed that he was Sparta's son. Mary realized Rabbit needed Sparta's DNA to activate the sword's true power. Rabbit invited Dante to come stop the invasion himself. At that moment, the vice president ordered his men to exterminate the demons being rescued. Mary, too, finds out that Rabbit's ultimate mission was to destroy Dark-Com. The shapeshifter watched in horror as his kind were gunned down. Enraged, he pressed a button that triggered explosions throughout the building. Dante grabbed Mary and leapt out just in time to save them both. We are shown Mary's childhood, where her father, who is completely lost in experimenting with demons, has become so obsessed with the idea of defeating demons that he even becomes ready to experiment on himself. Mary's mother tries to stop him, but he injects himself and turns into a demon, eventually killing his own wife. He then turns towards Mary, but accidentally, a fire breaks out in his lab, destroying their house. Mary decides that she will no longer spare any demons and joins Dark-Com. Next, we see Rabbit's backstory. He is an orphan, and the people who adopted him treat him badly. One day, a gate to hell opens in front of him, and he finds himself sucked into a story where a rabbit in the book also ends up going through a portal. Intrigued, Rabbit follows the portal and discovers that the world there is even more dangerous. A demon saves him, and Rabbit starts living with this demon's family, where he experiences a lot of love. However, he soon realizes that the weaker demons in that world are dying one by one because of the harsh environment. Eventually, his friend dies too, leading Rabbit to decide that he will get everyone out of that place. Rabbit creates a device that helps him find portals connected to Earth and stabilizes them, allowing demons to pass through. Meanwhile, Dark-Com is on a mission to kill demons and gets information about one such portal. Rabbit arrives with some demons, but Dark-Com surrounds them. However, they do not shoot because one of the demons is accompanied by a human. Rabbit begins explaining the situation, but just then, a large demon from hell follows them and arrives on Earth via the portal. Dark-Com kills all the demons present, severely injuring Rabbit in the process. Rabbit, having lost his family, decides to take revenge on Dark-Com. He puts on Rabbit's mask and plans to destroy them. Back to present, Rabbit returns to hell, where he has trouble breathing but uses a device attached to his body to stabilize himself. He then goes to meet a devil and learns that this same devil had told him about Dante's necklace. The devil gives Rabbit the second part of the necklace, which contains blood from Dante's brother. This blood is necessary to break Sparta's barrier. Rabbit decides to confront Dante and returns to Earth. Meanwhile, Mary is determined to face Rabbit alone. Dante insists on going with her because he wants to save Earth and retrieve the necklace that he had sworn to his mother to protect. But Mary refuses, knocks him out, and locks him in a truck to prevent him from interfering because Rabbit needs Dante's blood. Rabbit, meanwhile, tells Anders to do something else, and Mary, driving a car, attacks the demons. One demon grabs her car, but Mary destroys the car, killing the demon. In exchange for Dante's life, Mary demands Rabbit stop the attack and return the necklace, which Rabbit agrees to. But soon, Rabbit realizes that Mary is tricking him, and he orders Cavalier to kill her. Mary, however, uses a rocket launcher to blow him up. The demons then attack Mary, and she begins fighting them off one by one. However, she is eventually paralyzed by one of them. Rabbit retrieves the necklace, and another demon begins attacking Mary. Just then, Dante arrives and kills the demons. Rabbit tells Dante about Mundus, the one who killed his family, and takes him to Hell to show him what his father's actions have done to the demon world. Inside Hell, Dante starts feeling ill, so Rabbit throws him back to Earth. Rabbit then tells him that he will break the bridge and bring all the demons into this world. Dante refuses, explaining that it will lead to many human deaths. But Rabbit convinces him that many humans have already died, and this act will balance the worlds for future generations. Rabbit demands Dante's blood to do this, but Mary refuses. Dante decides to stop the demons, and a fight ensues. Dante starts killing demons one by one, but Cavalier attacks him, throwing his sword away. Dante uses a demon to kill another demon and starts using it like a boxing glove, but Cavalier does not stop. They continue fighting fiercely, sometimes entering Hell, and at other times returning to Earth. Mary picks up a gun and attacks Rabbit, but Rabbit realizes her intentions. He begins attacking her instead. Dante tries to save her, but Cavalier throws him back into Hell, and all the demons join Cavalier to fight against Dante. Mary accuses Rabbit of doing all this just to take revenge on com, stating that if Rabbit truly cared about demons, he wouldn't have kept them imprisoned. Rabbit explains that he did everything because of com, which collects people whose families are dead and brainwashes them to fight demons. Rabbit then shows Mary his true face, and she understands his hatred for com. Meanwhile, Dante continues fighting the demons inside Hell but is struggling to breathe. Cavalier stops him, and we learn that Rabbit's equipment is pumping demon blood into him, using his healing abilities to buy time for revenge. Mary realizes her mistake, and Dante, while fighting Cavalier, manages to summon his demon power and traps him inside a portal. Dante breaks the device stabilizing the portal, and as it closes, Cavalier is torn apart. Dante, seeing Rabbit as a human, begins fighting him. Rabbit, however, attacks, but he falls into the water, and com arrives to collect him. Rabbit, emerging from the water, eats a demon, causing changes to his body. com starts collecting the bodies, and Mary tells Dante to hand over his necklace. Dante refuses, saying he cannot trust the vice president, but Mary still believes in him. The vice president asks about Sparta's sword and the necklace, and Dante reveals that Rabbit still has them. The vice president orders Dante to join them, but Dante refuses. He orders soldiers to capture him, and as Rabbit returns, the soldiers open fire. However, the bullets have no effect on Rabbit. Rabbit begins killing soldiers one by one. The vice president escapes in a helicopter, but Dante and Mary jump into the fray. They realize that in order to defeat Rabbit, they must destroy the equipment on his chest. Soldiers begin attacking with helicopters, but Rabbit uses Sparta's sword to destroy the helicopters. Rabbit then continues fighting Dante and Mary, pushing them back. As they fight, Enzo intervenes to protect Dante but got killed instead, and Dante's devil trigger activates. However, even with his powers, he is not strong enough to defeat Rabbit. Just as Dante is on the verge of losing, Mary arrives in a helicopter and tries to save Dante. Rabbit, however, jumps onto the helicopter and brings it down. The necklace falls back into Rabbit's hands, and he uses it to activate Sparta's sword. Rabbit tells Dante that the sword can only be activated with both brothers' blood. Dante laughs, saying Virgil is already dead, but Rabbit reveals that Virgil is still alive. He throws Virgil's blood onto Sparta's sword, and the sword is activated. Rabbit stabs Dante, and both brothers' blood merge, causing the gates of Hell to open. The demons launch an attack on Earth, and Dante, injured, is unable to do much. Rabbit prepares to kill him, but Mary shoots the device on Rabbit's chest, breaking it. Dante's devil trigger is activated once again, and he pulls out his father's sword, transforming into a demon. Dante kills Rabbit with his sword, taking the necklace. The gate of hell closes, and all the demons retreat. After the fight, Dante decides to find his brother. He asks Mary to join him, but she knocks him out, believing that keeping both of them alive would be too dangerous. Meanwhile, we are shown a scene from an hour earlier where Anders steals the device Rabbit used to stabilize the portals. The vice president takes control of it and, suspecting Anders, decides to attack Hell. Fighter planes launch missiles into Hell, killing demons. Darkcom also moves in to kill more demons, and a prison is established in Hell to hold them. At this point, a demon in Hell kills several soldiers to free his fellow demons, and we learn that the demon is none other than Dante's brother, Virgil, who is preparing to take revenge on humanity. And with that, the anime ends. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, tell me in the comments how you feels about this anime.